Housing Office's online tutorial on how to complete the 2014-2015 housing application for rising juniors and seniors. The first thing you'll want to do is open up either a Firefox or Internet Explorer web browser, log into eCampus, and select the housing portal. Once you've landed on the page you're seeing right now, you'll want to click on Applications. You'll select the 2014-2015 undergraduate housing application. You'll click Select Application, which will lead you to the first page of the application, which is demographic information. You'll make sure this is completed accurately, and then you'll begin your application. As the next page loads, we'll move on, as soon as it loads, to the Contract eSign Undergraduate Contract page. This page will display the undergraduate housing contract for the 2014-2015 academic year. It's really important that you read the contract fully and that you fully understand it. We also want to note that this is the only part you need to complete on the first day that the application goes live to set your timestamp for the rest of the process. In other words, you can log into the application, sign this electronic contract, and at that point your application is timestamped for the selection process with your group later on in the room selection process. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the contract. Talks about canceling your contract and what that looks like in terms of penalties. So really important that you understand the contract before signing it. But once I click I agree and I save and continue, my application is timestamped, and now I can log out of eCampus and come back at any point between the date I started the application and signed the contract and the day that it's due, which is January 31st at 11:59 p.m. So if nothing else, we highly recommend that you log in on the 15th, you at least sign your contract, and then come back and complete the application if you're not ready to do so on that specific day. The next page of the contract is general information. So here you'll list what your current academic year is. If it's your third year, you would list third. If you're studying abroad, you want to click that here. I'm going to select not studying abroad. If you have any specific questions about what happens if you are going abroad in the fall, we certainly encourage you to ask those questions of our office, or you can go to the housing webpage and go to the Apply for Housing page on the housing webpage and find out more about housing for study abroad. Next, you'll select when you want your occupancy to begin. For most of you, it will be fall 2014. And then we're also interested if you're planning or hoping to live on campus during the summer. Once the page loads, the next part of the application is where you'll indicate what your housing preferences are for the coming academic year. So you're just going to go through and you're going to select perhaps University Villas. You want to be in a 4-bedroom apartment in a premium sized double room with a bath. Maybe your second selection is University Villas in a 4-bedroom premium sized double. Third choice might be University Villas in a premium size single with a bath room. Fourth choice, let's say it's your 1-bedroom apartment. Your fifth choice, maybe it's a Sobrado 4-bedroom apartment, and perhaps your sixth choice is Casa in a 4-bedroom apartment. And then you would click select. It's also really important to note that only individuals or juniors and seniors living in apartments with full kitchens that are allowed to select the apartment meal plan. Any other student who's a junior and senior but living in a room that doesn't have a kitchen would have to select at least a junior senior, if not one of the other two meal plans. So we'll click Save and Continue. If you have any other additional housing preferences or any additional comments you want to make or let us know about, this would be the place to indicate that. The next part of the application that will load here in a second is a series of is a series of other questions related to special accommodations. So if you do require a special accommodation, you do need to be registered with the Disabilities Resource Office, so make sure you do that. We also want you to indicate those in our application so we can prepare for that accordingly. However, if you just note it here and you have not registered with Disabilities Resource Office, then there's a good chance we may not accommodate this special request. So you do need to be registered if you do feel there's a specific accommodation that you require. And you need to do that by April 1st. The next part of the application is a series of compatibility questions. We just ask you take some time, fill out these questions as honestly as possible. In the event that we do need to place you with a roommate, or at some other point later in the academic year, someone might be coming back from study abroad and we're going to place them in your room. We would just like to know what your preferences are in these specific areas. So take some time and fill out these compatibility questions. Once you've done that, click Save and Continue. Then it leads you to the room selection groups. So you're completing your application, you've listed all your preferences, but you're going to go through room selection with a group of individuals that you've predetermined among your friends or among individuals you want to live with here on campus. And you're going to create a group. Say you and 5 other people want to live in a 4-bedroom apartment at University Villas, and it's been deemed that you're going to be the group leader. So during the application process, you're going to select Create a Group. You're going to create this group. So I'm going to call this John's Group. You can really name the group anything you want. You're going to create a password. Make sure you remember the password because you're going to have to share this password and the group name with the other members of your group. You're going to create your group, and your group's going to be created. John's group is created, and it has a password. And you're going to share this group name and password with all the other members of your group, because when they go and complete their application, they're not going to create a group because you've already done that. They want to be a member of your group. So they're going to select Join a Group, and they would type in the group's name, password, and then they would be linked to the group that you've created, and so that when you go through room selection, the 6 of you are selecting an apartment that has 6 spaces, and at that point you get placed in that apartment in the specific rooms, and that's how room selection happens when there's a group of you. If you're not wanting to be in a group, you do have to create a group if you're one person going through the room selection process, so keep that in mind as well. And then finally, you submit your application. So here's the important thing to note. You can come back and log in as many times as you want after you sign the e-contract, the electronic contract. But once you submit it, you can't go back and make any changes. So make sure that you take time to make sure that your application is correct and filled out as completely and accurately as you want, because once you submit the application, there's nothing the housing office can do to revise an application. So don't be trigger happy. You can certainly wait until the 31st to submit your application, because remember, as long as you sign the e-contract on the 2nd, your application is already time-stamped for that date and time. So keep that in mind. Another thing about the timestamp is that when you're in a group, the timestamp and the time when you will actually select your room is based on an average of all of your group members' timestamp from when they sign their contracts in the application process. So I'm going to go ahead and submit the application, and then I'm done. And so now all you have to do is wait to hear from the housing office in terms of what building you get to select a room or an apartment within. And on that specific day at that designated time, you, any members of your group, it doesn't have to be the group leader, will log in and select. You'll see this screen, this room's screen, the available spaces will be shown to you, and you will select, or a member of your group will select the apartment that you will be living in or room that you'll be living in the coming academic year. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact our office at 408-554-4900, or you can email us at housing@scu.edu. The application for Rising Juniors and Seniors does go live at 7 a.m. on January 15th, 2014. Our office will also be open at that time to answer any questions that you may have as you begin the application process. Thank you for watching our web-based video tutorial. And again, do let us know if you have any questions or concerns as you progress through the application process. Thank you.